Hello everyone, it is I, your host, Simon Dexter. I'm so sorry I'm late. Yeah, I actually had a few ideas for a cruel and unusual story time to start the month off. However, both stories fell through for reasons. But I'm here now, and that's all that matters. So we're doing something a little different today, because it's not really a cruel and unusual storytime episode, but I wouldn't really call this a vlog either, because a vlog to me is when I'm talking about the show or what's going on with the channel, stuff like that. But that's not what I'm doing. So I don't know what to call it. Something infotational, I suppose. I'm not even really sure how to start it, to be honest with you, but let's start with this. I love Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's right, folks, this entire time you've been watching a hardcore hugger. Which is what we in the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared fandom call ourselves. I at least read it somewhere once. But I like it, I think it fits. But just so you know, I'm not afraid of hugs either. Should we ever meet. And I've actually been meaning to talk about this for a while now. Like, since about June. Maybe I've been wanting to talk about Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared with you guys. But already, I'm hearing resonance coming from the audience. I hear you. You ask, Simon, what the fuck is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? You poor souls. Well, you just so happen to be in luck, because in the description for you, I have the first two videos of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared linked. And you can go ahead and go watch those. Seriously, pause the video. They're both about 3 minutes long. Won't take you too much time. And I'll be right here, waiting so we can talk about it together. Why are you still here? If you're watching at this point, I'm assuming you've already finished the first Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and you're thinking, Simon, what the fuck? That was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. And haven't you said you hate gore and shock factor before? That's exactly what that fucking was. You are a hypocrite, and you suck, and I hate you. To which I say, calm your tits, okay? Okay. Firstly, I never said I hated gore and shock factor. I said it doesn't necessarily make a story automatically scary, and has a tendency to be overused in such a way. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is the perfect example of how to use those things well. You see, horror and things that are scary do not have an exact science to them. They're extremely subjective, just like comedy. You know, you and your best friend are probably going to find different things funny and different things scary. Like me personally, I'm not a huge fan of shock factor unless it's used well, which is possible. Because you see, just like trans fat, there's such a thing as a good shock factor and a bad shock factor. Now, tell me, what is the difference between these two things? An original story that you have no idea about, except that the title obviously gives away that it is going to be creepy. You pay attention, and it starts out really normal. Like it's actually kind of interesting, and it's nice, and it's fun, and it's bouncy. Then you notice the little things, and then the big things start piling up slowly and steadily. You notice these things happen, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's just a clusterfuck of craziness and hell, and you don't want anyone to hug you because you're scared. Or take a known story, such as, oh, I don't know, Hey Arnold, and have it be about a boy with Down syndrome who is sexually molested by his grandpa daddy. You see, build-up and originality have a lot to do with good shock factor. It even helps with gore, too. Unless there's too much. Little goes a long way when it comes to gore, and that wasn't too bad. It didn't bother me, anyway. I'm sorry for interrupting this Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared video with a lecture. I just wanted to nip it in the butt before people cry out hypocrite. Now go on, continue watching. Now I'm assuming you've just finished the second one. Or you're watching straight through because you've already watched this video, or you already know what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is, so it doesn't matter. I know what you people who are just fresh off the pot are thinking. Simon! That was worse. Like, they didn't even build up to anything. It was just everywhere. Fuck's wrong with you? And again, I say, calm your tits. Yes, there was no build up to that one. why would they need to build it up again if they already built it up in the first one? We were expecting it that time, and they decided not to fuck with us. And I think that's brilliant. Enough dinking around. All of you who have been behind are now caught up. Now we can get to the real business. Now I know what some of you who are new to this are thinking. You don't know how to feel about these. And you're like, I don't know. Do I like it? Should I like it? And you know what? I felt the exact same way when I first started. Because I saw the first Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Years ago. Okay, maybe not years, but like a year. I don't really remember, to be honest with you. The first time I watched it, I swore I wouldn't watch it again. Because it kind of actually freaked me out just a little bit. Because it does what it does really well. Oh, it does so well. But you know what? Time passed, and I thought to myself, you know, I haven't watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared in a while. Let's watch it again. And it sort of became a regular thing. It was weird, like weeks would pass, months, days, various changing intervals of time, and I kept coming back to watch it. And it slowly clicked that I actually liked this video that I thought was so weird and creepy at first. And then the second one came out, and I was really excited. I was oddly excited. But when it first came out and I watched it the first time, I was actually a little disappointed, to be honest with you. It was kind of almost too different. Like, I felt it didn't build up as much, and I didn't like that at first at all, to be honest with you. Like, I wanted more of a build-up and it to actually creep me out again. When that time it didn't bother me whatsoever. But I grew to like it for different reasons. But you know, I actually would like to get more into just a bit of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared history, if you don't mind. Now, the original Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared video came out July 29th, 2011. Yeah, long-ass time ago. And it was created and directed by Joe Pelling and Becky Sloan. Sloan? Sloan? Whatever. And may I just say, those two are fucking geniuses. Seriously, if I don't get to shake their hands ever in my lifetime, my existence will have been a total waste. Now, what I'm about to say isn't exactly fact. It's because, well, fact-checking is for suckers. But this is the way I see it. The original Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared almost seems as if it was supposed to be a one-shot idea. Because, honestly, at its essence, it's a brilliant one-shot idea. Just sort of a pot shot at children's shows. Think of it. It's got puppets, big musical number, and it's all got one big centric lesson that they need to learn, but they went with it ironically to sort of make their point, which is the brilliance of it. And then they saw these characters after the first one and saw how crazy the views were and thought to themselves, you know, we could do so much more with these characters. And I'm glad they did. Thus entering time. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared 2. Like I said, I wasn't too crazy about this one when it first came out, just because it did a few things different that I wasn't too fond of at first. Like, it didn't do any build-up to any of the creepy crap, and the lesson wasn't nearly as interesting or thought-provoking as the first one, and frankly, I didn't care for the song as much at first, because it wasn't as bouncy and fun. But it did a few things right, and that's when it started to grow on me. One thing I felt it did right off the bat is it actually solidified the characters as characters. Like in the first one, it did a lot of things good, but one thing, everyone felt really 2D and sort of cookie cutter, which is why it felt like it was a one-shot idea, to be honest with you. But in these, everyone was more something. Let's introduce our characters, shall we? The three main characters in these videos. None of them have proper names. Even the creators don't actually call them out by name. So we will be referring to them as simply the red guy, the yellow guy, and the bird. I actually think the bird is a duck, personally, but not everyone agrees with me, so we'll just go with bird for now. And the fandom has names for the characters, but I won't use them because everyone has differing names and I don't want to start a debate. Because none of them are canon anyway, so get over it. And I challenge the putz decided to name the yellow guy Manny. Manny? He has a D on his overalls. Like, if you call him Manny now, that's fine. You're doing it out of habit. It's not a big deal. But the person who originally gave him the name Manny, you are an imbecile. He's got a fucking D on his overalls. I mean, Roy, the only character who canonically has a name, has an R on his overalls. Roy is yellow guy's dad. The creepy one from the second one. Yeah, I know. But his name is Roy. He's got an R. Roy. Duh. Manny. At least change it to Danny or something, or Donnie, or Dudley. Those are my favorites, personally. In the first episode, I suppose they had mild characteristics, but you didn't notice them as much. They didn't really shine through. But the second one nailed it down. They really felt as if they were characters in a series in the second one, which makes the episode shine out more than the first one does, to me at least. Like, you really felt that the red guy was more of this cynical everyman. Like, he understood more of what was going on. Like, he doesn't exactly know what's going on like the other two, but he has a much firmer grasp of what's happening in front of him than the other two do. You see that a lot when he questions things. Like, when the clock shows up and he's like, who is this guy? But you can still tell he's very childlike, but he gets it more. And then with the bird, he's a know-it-all with the big mouth, and he just talks and talks and talks. So obviously he's my favorite character. But I like him. Makes him amusing. And the yellow guy. Oh, poor yellow guy. Always the butt of jokes. And he's dumb, and he gets picked on, and it's sad, but it's funny. Even though when you see him and his dad, it makes you feel really uncomfortable. And then, of course, every episode has the central character that the creators like to call friends. I personally prefer the term tormentor, as that's what they're doing. This being, of course, the sketchbook and the clock from the two episodes. And, well, don't get me wrong, I like the sketchbook character, but you really notice character development works better in the second one. I mean, the sketchbook was perfect for her particular episode, and actually Becky Sloan does her voice, I believe, one of the creators, and she's perfect. But yeah, her character worked for that one, because it almost felt like she was supposed to be very over-happy, sterile, and very non-human, like she was trying to be dehumanizing for the purpose of what that episode was trying to do. But I really liked the clock was so different. He was irritable and got impatient and angry, and I don't know, it was interesting to see such different characters, and I can't wait to see more. Speaking of more, as I'm sure some of you regular fans already know, we're finally getting more. So for those of you not following along, or those of you who are brand new and super into this, like, yeah, I want more, well, good news for you. There was a Kickstarter back in June to fund 4 more episodes of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. And I was a backer. Oh yes, I was on that shit so fast. I backed about £150, something like that, which transfers to like 280 US dollars. That's a lot of money for just to see puppets kill each other. Totally worth it though, because we managed to reach our goal a few days before the deadline of 96,000 English pounds, which is a lot more in American dollars. I'm not going to do the math, but trust me. And we actually did over. We was like 104,000 around that area. Not bad. So we got a little. We didn't make stretch goals though, because it was like just a few days before it was over, so that we didn't have time. But we got funded. Now we get to see more Puppet Mayhem this month. That's right. I know it. You know it. And if you didn't know it, now you do. We're getting more Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared this month. And the teaser came out early this morning. I know, because I was up, because I had my real job. But when I saw it, I knew I had to do a video on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Because I want as many people to experience these next 4 episodes with me as possible. So now that I got through all the boring stuff, let's get to the new stuff. And let's dissect that teaser. Now if you haven't seen the teaser yet, I have left a link in the description. So it's probably easier to follow along if you watch it, so go ahead and pause me. We good? Did you watch it? Good. Okay, let's move on then. So, as the creators have confirmed, every episode will feature a new friend who is teaching a new central lesson. Question is, what is 3 gonna be about? At this point, that's actually pretty hard to decipher, but I do have a fair guess of what it could be, and my guess is, honestly, nature and wildlife, or even outdoor activity of some sort. Here's why. Firstly, let's start with what we've seen in the teaser that kind of hints at this. Now, throughout the entire, well, most of the teaser anyway, the main guys are sitting at a picnic outdoors. Granted, that's not a huge feat. I mean, they were outdoors a bit in the second one. But in the teaser for the second one, the entire thing just showed them sitting around the TV before doing the big 2 is coming deal, and that's what they did at the beginning of the episode. So, this somewhat hints that they're going to be outside predominantly. Not to mention, in a lot of the update pictures shown, it shows just that sort of similar outdoorsy scene by trees and such. And whatever's left in the teaser, though, is just that ring with the flowers. I have no idea what that ring means. If anyone has an idea, please share it in the comments, because I haven't the slightest. But the fact that it's decorated in flowers kinda gives off a nature feel, doesn't it? Right? Right. And also, on Becky's Twitter, I believe, or it may have been updates on Kickstarter, I can't really remember, but she did mention that there was going to be a chicken picnic, as if that was sort of a big deal for this episode. Do not know what a chicken picnic entails, but I suppose we'll find out, won't we? Another big hint I kinda got was from this guy right here. That is a new puppet designed for the new episode, shared on the Kickstarter updates. Now, if Bunny doesn't scream outdoors to you, I don't know what does. But those are just my thoughts on the episode. What are your thoughts? Because now that we're on the same page, I want us to have all the fun we can with this. I am now officially your #1 Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared source from this day onward. I will be doing a reaction and review to every episode. As soon as I get my Kickstarter rewards, I'll show them off. If I hear any news, I will be the first to tell you, etc., etc. We can actually expect a new episode probably around Halloween, which means I will record at Halloween and then do it the day after, because I don't want that and the Halloween Hall of Fame to coincide with each other. Speaking of which, suggestions for that are still open. You may go to the link in the video below to figure out the rules and to enter any stories or whatever you have. So that's it for me today. If you want to follow me on my Facebook and Tumblr, those are in the description as well. There are tons of links. I apologize, and I hope this will be a fun experience. I'm glad we're all huggers now. I will see you all real soon.